All right, today we're diving into something really cool from NetRun Systems called the Optical Physics Suite. And look, this isn't just another piece of software. It was actually born from a massive internal problem they had. A problem so tough that none of the tools out there could even touch it. It's a classic story, right? Innovation that comes from pure, absolute necessity.
Yeah, and this quote from their white paper, it just gets right to the heart of it. They were stuck. They could either shell out a fortune for a bunch of clunky, separate tools that didn't really work together, or they could just build something better themselves. And you know what they did? They chose to build, and that creation is what we're going to break down today.
So where did this whole thing kick off? Well, the story starts with a project that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. It was called Ghost Grid. Let's dig into the massive challenge they were staring down.
Okay, so Netron's big idea was to build this totally game-changing optical communication network. But the problem was, to even start, they had to model, well, everything. We're talking atmospheric physics, network design, all of it, all at the same time. The tools that existed, not only were they ridiculously expensive, but they were all separate little islands, siloed. Nothing talked to anything else. So there was just no way to get a single unified view. It was a clunky, inefficient, and super expensive mess. That was the wall they hit.
So, when you're faced with an impossible problem, what do? You build the solution yourself. And that's exactly what they did. They created the Optical Physics Suite. And at first, it was just supposed to be a little internal tool to solve their ghost grid problem. But they very quickly realized that what they built was way, way bigger than just a one-off fix. And this timeline, wow, it just perfectly shows how fast this thing exploded. Just look at this. In only 4 months, from November to February, Optical went from just a few core simulation modules to a full-blown enterprise-ready platform. We're talking 22 physics modules, a dashboard, even an integrated training system. That is not just fast development, that is absolute hyperspeed.
Okay, now let's pop the hood and really see what's powering this thing. Because the sheer scale and what this platform can do is, well, it's genuinely staggering. And it all kind of boils down to a few key numbers that just tell the story.
First up, 22. That's how many specialized physics modules are packed into this suite. And we're talking the whole spectrum of optical engineering here, from the basic stuff like beam propagation, all the way up to some really advanced AI-driven design tools.
Next up, over 150. That's the number of production-ready REST API endpoints this thing has. So what does that actually mean? It means Optikal isn't some closed-off black box. It's built to plug right into a company's existing systems for total automation and integration. It's designed to play nice with others.
And then we have this number, which might be my favorite, 3,234. That is the number of automated tests running constantly behind the scenes. Why does that matter? Because it tells you this isn't just a powerful platform. It's rock solid. It's secure, it's reliable, it's truly production grade.
So how does all this magic actually work? Well, this table breaks down the architecture, and man, it is a seriously modern tech stack. It's built from the ground up for pure performance. So for you, the user, you get this super fast, interactive dashboard. But the real muscle, that's in the back end. You've got these GPU-accelerated Python physics engines running in Docker containers. This is a setup built for heavy-duty industrial-strength work. And they even have a plugin for Unreal Engine 5 so you can get photorealistic visualizations. It's the whole package.
Okay, so all that power under the hood is incredible, right? But it doesn't mean a thing if it's impossible to use. And this, for me, is where Optical really shines. So let's shift gears a bit from the raw power and talk about the user experience and how they managed to make something so complex feel so accessible.
And this comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? Think about the old way of doing things. You're juggling a handful of super expensive, separate desktop apps that just refuse to talk to each other. It's a nightmare. The Optical way, it just throws all of that out. Everything is unified in one platform that you access from your web browser. No more compatibility headaches, just one smooth workflow from beginning to end. And the dashboard itself is just a masterclass in modern design. For starters, it's a progressive web app, which means you get offline support. That's pretty much unheard of for a tool this powerful. Then you've got these incredible interactive 3D visualizations, plus some really smart features for the power users, like a command palette, so you can fly through the entire platform just using your keyboard.
But here's the kicker. They didn't just build a tool. They built an entire school right inside it. The platform has a complete training system baked in. You can pick a learning path and work through these interactive modules at your own pace, actually unlocking new features as you master the skills. This is a huge deal. It's basically democratizing access to this really complex field of physics that, until now, was pretty much locked away for just a handful of experts.
Okay, So we've established it's powerful, and it's surprisingly accessible. But what do people actually do with it? Let's zoom out now and look at the real-world impact Optikal is having in some of the most cutting-edge industries out there.
And first up, we come full circle, right back to where it all started, the Ghost Grid project. Optikal is now a top-tier tool for free space optical communications. You know, the tech that sends data through the air on beams of light. It lets engineers design these links and, get this, simulate them with real-time weather data pulled in. That means they can predict performance with unbelievable accuracy.
Then you've got the auto industry, where it's literally helping make self-driving cars safer. Engineers use Optikal to simulate really complex scenarios for LiDAR, you know, the laser system that maps the car's surroundings. They can find and fix really tricky problems, like how to deal with phantom obstacles that show up because of tire spray in the rain. That's a huge safety challenge, and they can model it.
Moving on to space systems, the applications here are just massive. We're talking about optimizing entire satellite constellations, figuring out the perfect windows for communication, and modeling those super complex laser links that let satellites talk to each other up in orbit. And finally, it's pushing the envelope in AR and VR. Engineers are using this platform to design the next generation of headset displays. They can analyze everything from the complex optics inside to something as human as visual comfort, all with the goal of building better, more immersive, and more realistic experiences for all of us.
So when you see that kind of impact across so many different fields, the next logical question is, how does it actually stack up against the competition? So let's do that. Let's put Optikal head-to-head with the legacy tools that have been running the show for decades.
Honestly, this table pretty much says it all. No matter which major competitor you look at, Optikal has a clear, decisive advantage. It's cloud-native, while the others are still stuck on the desktop. It's an all-in-one platform, while the others are just focused on one little piece of the puzzle. Oh, and it's up to 10 times faster because it's GPU accelerated. It's really no contest.
And if that wasn't enough, this slide delivers the final knockout blow, the cost. Look at this. Over 3 years, a team of 25 people would spend about $22,000 on Optikal. The legacy tools? Over $500,000. That's not just a little better. That's a saving of over 90%. This is the kind of price disruption that just blows the doors wide open for startups and smaller research teams to compete in a way they never ever could before.
Which really brings us to the final big question. When a single platform comes along that has this much power, runs 10 times faster, and costs over 90% less, you're not just looking at a new alternative. You're looking at a fundamental shift in how things are done. So it really makes you wonder, what does the future of engineering even look like now?